Yes, sir. Welcome to another episode of the Mill3r Sports Podcast. I am your host, Franklin Miller, joined by my good friend Christian Salgado, as we do this every Tuesday. Sal, how have you been? How's your week been so far?
It's been good, man. Been good, great basketball. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk.
Some hoops? Yes, sir. I feel that. I feel that. Well, I kind of wanted to kickstart the conversation, obviously, with the Suns and Nuggets. That's tonight, like later tonight. So I just kind of wanted to see where your thoughts are on the series in general, and like who has the edge in your opinion, as the series is now tied 2-2. The Suns took care of home court, so did the Nuggets. So who do you think still has the edge going into Game 5 tonight?
I'm leaning towards Phoenix, man. I think, especially if Denver supporting cast isn't really gonna show out next to Jokic, then I think they got the edge. I think they've really figured out that if they just push in transition, they don't really get back on defense, and the Sun takes opportunity of that. I mean, I don't think anything exemplified that better than the end of I think the first quarter when KD outletted. I mean, Booker outletted it to KD, and he just shot it right over the top. Um, I think that Nuggets can't keep up with the pace of the Suns, and especially the bench. The Nuggets bench has not been good, and I think they're daring them to shoot in the corner because they just collapse the paint and just don't allow anything at the rim. So I think that's something to watch for tonight's game as well, seeing how Denver's bench performs versus the Suns.
I like the thought process, and another thing to it that is the Suns bench has actually stepped up, and I think a lot of that has to do with like no Chris Paul being in, and Monty having to go to the bench a lot more. Granted, to Monty's defense, I do think that they would have still played the bench a little bit more after even being down 2-0. I think Campaign's minutes might have gone down a little bit if Chris Paul was still out, but with Campaign being in, like you said, the pace has just gone up tremendously because he likes to play up tempo all the time with fast pace, and that's the Suns at its best. I remember last week at practice, Torrey Craig was talking about that after the Game 3 win, and he was like, that was the standard of how we play in terms of like the tempo and how fast they go and everything. So I agree. However, for tonight, I'm leaning more towards Nuggets from
Okay.
the simple fact that I want to see. I'm not counting on the bench scoring 40 points again this game, and they don't need to for them to win per se. But what I am thinking of is I think Jamal Murray is due for a just avalanche like of a game, like just dropping 30, 40, and just going absolutely crazy to just blow the roof off the place in Denver. So I'm expecting to be a close game, but I expect Denver to kind of ice it out at the end with the Jamal Murray explosion. It's kind of like I think that's asking for a little too much in a sense, but I do think though with Chris Paul still out, with the tempo still being up, I do like the Suns' chances to keep this still tight as close as possible. Um, I'm just expecting Denver to feed off the home crowd and to come away with a win tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Jamal Murray is a huge swing factor for this series, especially last night or 2 nights ago of the game. I noticed that despite him and Jokic having arguably the best two-man game in the league, he really wasn't hitting Jokic so much on the short roll as he should have been.
Yeah,
He was really trying to force the issue in the mid-range, really trying to get his shot going, and it just really wasn't hitting at times. I mean, he didn't have like a terrible game necessarily, but
no,
yeah,
yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that was what was missing. Period. And not only that, last game, the last two games for Denver, and up to your credit too. I think them that as well as just the fact that they weren't getting back on transition defense. The Suns finally found a formula and how to beat them, or at least how to like stay with them in close game situations. So
yeah.
I want to see
And
how
also
this.
on the defensive side for Phoenix, I think they know that Jokic is going to get that deep posting position. And I think they're just letting it happen. I mean, they're going to let it rock. Like Jokic is going to put up the crazy numbers he is, as long as they
Yeah,
can shut down the perimeter. I mean, Denver really hasn't shown much, honestly, at least from last game.
Yeah, I expect Michael Malone to make some adjustments there.
Definitely. A lot of it's on Michael Porter Jr. too. I know we all saw that awful transition 3. That just I
want to actually discuss
when he stopped to pop, it looked bad, it felt bad.
And I kind of want to discuss that too, because I think as much as it was bad, Jokic missing that layup at the end of the game, I think that Michael Porter Jr. transition 3 was really costly.
And it kind of ruined the
it kind of ruined the wouldn't say momentum, because I think Phoenix still had momentum. It's just kind of ruined the flow for Denver at that spot. Because I knew once he missed that shot, I'm like, oh, Phoenix got this. Phoenix has this.
Because that third quarter was transcendent. That was insane.
It was. Booker going stupid, Jokic going stupid. It's an NBA nerd's dream, man.
Yeah, KD too. KD in there too. KD had a great game too.
Oh yeah, KD. He got back to his efficient self, man. Which he said he alluded to after game 3. He was kind of forcing the issue a little too much, and he just needed to kind of settle down a little bit. But once he did,
I would say Jokic and Booker. I say we have the 2 best playoff players right now playing right now. Maybe Butler? 3. I would say Steph, Jokic, and Booker are the best playoff players right now.
Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler is like a close 4th.
Really?
The only thing I give the edge over is the passing between the 3 versus Butler.
Okay. I feel that. Yeah. But yeah, no, Booker. My opinion. Speaking of that, I feel like Devin Booker's been having his best stretch of his career this month in the playoffs. I even think that Devin Booker has arguably been the best player. Actually, not even argue. I will say Devin Booker's been the best player in the playoffs. He is averaging 37 points per game on 62% shooting and 71% true shooting, while shooting threes, mid-range, drives, you name it, double teamed, like off the pins, pick and rolls, like, oh.
No, he's insane. I mean, Booker, I think, is a guy I've always gone back and forth on. I was a fan of his when he first got drafted out of Kentucky. And, you know, obviously he got a lot of buzz early, especially with the 70-point game. And, like, then he was just kind of, like, stashed away for a long time when Phoenix was really bad and trying to hit on lottery picks for so long. I think that kind of molded him into who he is now. Because, man, he's so exciting to watch. That shot making is incredible. Like,
it's unbelievable.
He shoots it, and I feel like it's going in every time.
I can't believe I'm saying this. He's looked like another version of Kevin Durant, but even more. I've never seen Kevin Durant this efficient over a stretch of his career. This is insane, the amount of efficiency he's on. He's shooting 60, 40, 90 in this series. That's absurd.
Yeah.
That's high volume. You probably would see from Jokic in a series based off of, like, because he's near the rim all the time. He's doing this from outside the paint half the time. That's why I'm just like, he's like 34 of his last 43 shooting in the last 2 games. I've never seen such a shooting clip like this before in my life. It kind of reminds me of the April Steph Curry month in 2020 when he had that crazy month during the COVID year when he was shooting the 3-ball like crazy. It's similar to that in my opinion, but in a playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, I think the one crazy thing for me is the transition. The transition scoring is insane from him. He's stopping and popping or going to the rim, and they can't stop him either fucking way. And everything's a good shot for him.
Everything's a good shot for him. There's no bad shot. I remember he hit a double team shot at the end of the third quarter, and Kevin Durant just was shaking his head like, bruh, like, what? Like, in the words of him, it was spiritual. It was spiritual, you know?
Playmaking wise, he's at the peak of his powers as well. And I think he's shown a lot of patience with these double teams lately. Like, he definitely knows how to figure things out on a more next level basis, like trying to figure out where everyone's going to be on the floor. Like, obviously he's wired to be a shot maker, but he knows to make the right play.
What's so crazy is he's learned a lot from Chris Paul and Kevin Durant over these past, actually a few years, if I'm being honest. KD just came to the scene now, but from a scoring perspective, he's learned a lot from KD. I think from a facilitating perspective, he's learned a lot from Chris Paul. From a patience perspective, He is slowly turning into the best version of himself, and it's a beautiful thing if you're a Suns fan watching this because you guys are about to be gifted for the next like 5-6 years. He's only 26. He's only
That's
26,
insane.
which is crazy. So I'm actually forget that probably the next decade if I'm being honest. So it's a sight to see. When he's in his early 30s, it's about to be crazy, crazy great. So
It's
yeah,
crazy because I feel like he's been in the league for so long too.
he has.
He's
He
been for
got
like
in
8
super
years,
young.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got in super young. So
I think he was the youngest player in his draft class, actually.
he was. Which was crazy, and a lot of people were probably kind of talking like, "Dang, why'd he go out?" Because he was sixth man, and like he was on a really stacked Kentucky team. You know, he could have started in a lot of other teams in the college basketball or NCAA, I should say. So it's kind of I can go on and on talking about Book, man, just how great
Yeah.
he is.
I believe Jamal Murray was the guard after him in Kentucky, too.
Yes, he was.
I think Jamal Murray got drafted the year after.
Yep. Kentucky finds a way to like. It's crazy how they don't win. They don't win the big one, but they find a way to get all these blue chip.
They have so many guards in the playoffs, or had so many guards in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Monk, De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, Monk, De'Aaron Fox, D Book, Jamal Murray. Shoot, and if you want to just go players in general, Karl Anthony Towns. So like they got a lot of players, man. It's amazing, and Julius Randle. Forgot about him. So
Oh,
forgot about Julius Randle. So I mean, shoot. Speaking of bigs, in a sense, like Cat and Julius Randle, Jokic was in the headlines during Game 4, and it wasn't just because of his 53-point performance, so to speak, which was insane, by the way. To me, this is off topic, but he reminds me a little bit of if Dirk Nowitzki and LeBron had a baby, that's Nikola Jokic. but that's
okay.
that's like another topic for another day.
I think he's the best player in the world right now. Just my personal opinion.
Oh, okay. I feel that's not a hot take. I'm just like,
not a hot take at all. I think just he's insane. He's insane to watch.
Yeah, it's incredible to see him play, but he wasn't even in the headlines for those reasons, which he should have been. He was caught shoving one of the the owner of the Suns, Matt Ishbia, slight shove, which then with it Ishbia kind of played along with it.
He sold it, man. He sold it. He sold it.
Yeah, so Ishbia and Jokic ended up getting just fined, which thank the heavens the NBA did that.
Oh, did I didn't even see that they released a statement? They released a statement already?
Yeah, it was yesterday. They got $25,000.
Okay.
Nobody got suspended, so
Thank God.
so Jokic will be playing in tonight's game. I wanted to ask you, even though it's kind of obvious by the answers you gave and I gave and the reactions, do you think it was the right decision to get fined, or should he have gotten a suspension?
No, he should not have been suspended. No.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time an owner's actually ever done something for his team. Actually, actively.
Yeah, I know. Once I saw the way he kind of
he literally flopped for a foul. That's crazy.
Yeah, once I saw that, I was like, "Oh, Ishbia is for the Suns right now. He's like an extra player right now for the team."
He played basketball in college. He played for Matt Izzo. Not Matt Izzo. He played for
Tom
Coach Izzo. Tom Izzo. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Isaiah Thomas looked like he was ready to go back to his Bad Boy Pistons days when he saw that happen. He's like, "Oh."
Well, if you watch the tape, you see the one guy with the beard. He was like shoving Jokic on the side too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't push Nikola Jokic like if I was just some random 5'10" dude.
No, heck no. Shoot, have you seen Jokic? I mean, and to Jokic's defense, how are you gonna? He's not gonna go anywhere if you push him.
Serbia. I wouldn't mess with that.
Heck no. And the shoot, we already know his brothers are no joke when it comes to. His brother's got his back 9 times. His brothers are his bodyguards, if I'm being honest with you. So
7-foot mobsters running around.
Exactly. So it's kind of crazy.
I want to touch on the discourse of what was said. I think.
Oh, it's like at the end of the game.
Yeah, or just more like people on social media and stuff talking about it,
and
good. Just like. I think it's really dumb that it was such a huge deal. Like, man, if you're the whole crowd thing. Like I think sometimes the fans are really, really not think. I know they're way privileged, and to be that close to these people and feel like you could touch them is just like completely like you wouldn't do that randomly. You wouldn't go to a high school game and push a kid,
Yeah.
or
No.
like you know what I mean. Like there's like no boundaries with these people. Sometimes I feel like if you're crazy enough to do that, then maybe you should like physically fight an NBA player and see if you really could win. Because like I don't know if you remember back
Yeah,
3 or 4 or 5 years ago in Utah when they were like throwing shit at Westbrook.
I was about to say that. I was about to say
I don't know
that.
if I can curse on here, throwing stuff at Westbrook. I honestly, sometimes it really, really irks me. I just don't like that. I mean, just like, have some common sense, man.
For real, man. It's getting out of hand. Like a lot of players, or not players, fans in particular. And I'm not just saying from Ishbia's perspective. Like this, just in general. I know you're talking about from a generosity perspective. It's like they don't care. Like they feel like they can get away with stuff like this, And these players are people too, Like they're not like
they're not robots.
They're not robots that you're like demanding for them to perform the way you want to when like it's like, oh, if you don't do this, then I'm leaving this. It's like, who are you? Like it's like, so it's like, man, we gotta show more respect to these players, man. Like these events, these stuff that we watch aren't fun without these players, So we gotta be more respectful to these guys, in my opinion, because like,
absolutely, yeah,
end of the day, they're human beings that are doing everything that they can to like not only to put on a show for us, but to help make the game better. For
sure.
It's crazy, but I think they made the right decision as well. I don't think Jokic should have been suspended. I think it's
I would have been. I would
a
have
discussion
because that would ruin the series, and then that.
Yeah, and to his defense, well, not to his defense, he didn't know that. I honestly think he really didn't know that was the Suns owner. I thought he legitimately thought that was a fan. So, should he have like nugged him? No, which is why I think the fine was warranted. Do you think he should have been ejected from the game?
I'm glad you didn't get ejected. No.
Now you could make an argument he should have been ejected.
You could, but
I'm glad he did. They didn't.
I think the refs knew that's too much on the line.
Yeah.
It's not, you're getting rid of like a top 3, top 2, depending on who you ask player. I mean, that'd be bad for business. Adam Silver will make the call.
Adam Silver would have called that down, be like, "Yo, what are y'all doing? That wasn't that." Like, So yeah, I think they made the right decision too. I think you could have made it. I think you could have made it. Now, if this was a regular season game, I think he might have gotten ejected.
Possibly
even suspended. I don't think he. I don't think. Actually, no. I'll take that back. I don't think he might have still gotten suspended. I still think he would have got fined. If this was a regular season game, I definitely think he would have gotten ejected.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ishbia even said like it was cool, whatever, like being competitive or whatnot. So
yeah, like Ishbia even knew too. Is like he does not need to be suspended for that, So yeah. But yeah, we move, Sal. We move onward to what I like to call the Battle of California and the Warriors-Lakers, which is one-sided now with SoCal, as the Lakers won yesterday. I know you're a Warriors fan, Sal, and it's not really fun right now in the Bay Area for you, man. And Steph had a great triple-double that got wasted yesterday. But I don't even want to talk about that. Steph, we all know how great he is. Before I get to like the actual thing that I wanted to discuss with this series, how are you doing? I want to consult you, Rose. How are you doing with this series? Because I know you're hurt, and I know it sucks because they're the defending champs. They have majority of their players back, and they've looked so inconsistent all season. How are you feeling, Sal? Like, talk to the few audiences we have right now.
Since preseason, for obvious reasons, the season has been long and tumultuous, and it's been insufferable. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know if I even like this team. I watch them, I get happy, I get depressed. It's like I don't know if you know who the Ball podcast is, but to quote them, it's emotional terrorism.
Emotional terrorism. Damn.
As for the game, we didn't want it. We didn't deserve to win. We didn't win. It was poor effort. People playing hero ball, ruining an absolutely great Steph game. Really stupid decisions down the stretch. And honestly, I feel like they didn't care. Like I honestly, it was appalling. We deserve to lose. We deserve to lose. I don't have an excuse. I have so many Laker fans in my life that I hear in my ear.
Are you
And I
sure they're
have
Laker fans or are you sure they're LeBron fans?
half 50-50 LeBron, 50-50 Laker fans. I know we're gonna get into Poole later, but I mean,
yeah, we are.
I'm not gonna crap on a guy's livelihood or like. At the end of the day, he's just a working man like us. He's been a liability. I'm not giving up on him, especially because we paid him a lot of money. I know a lot of people want to get him gone next year and trade whatnot. I don't know for who, whatever. I think Warriors fans can be delusional at time.
Oh yeah, man, it's bad. It's bad.
The delusion is crazy. And you know what? The sick part of me really still feels like we could still win the series if we care.
Yeah, I mean, it would
call it privilege, call it Warriors fan privilege.
It's definitely a little privileged, and you're looking at it from the standpoint of, hey, we were down 3-1. We were up 3-1 to LeBron. He beat y'all. You want revenge on that? I get it. I understand.
It would be poetic.
Yeah, I ain't gonna front, man. I definitely have the Warriors winning Game 5. Now for Game 6,
that's the big one.
It might be a wrap. It might be a wrap, and that to me depends on what bench are you getting in that Game 6. I think the bench is going to be outstanding in Game 5, and they're going to be playing with.
I'll say this, man. We have no one to defend AD, and like it's just so obvious and apparent. It's always been our weakness. We've never had our center. We've never had a big body to throw at people. It worked against Boston. We didn't really have all. It was wings we were playing against in the finals. Not this. AD, if he's playing like this, he locked Steph up. That last second to last possession, whatever that was.
Had nowhere to go, man. I was just watching that play. I was watching that play, and he was trying everything in his power to get free. And I was like, bruh, his width, his depth, bro. You're not gonna. You gotta. Yeah, it was tough.
Shout out to Steph, but that man locked him up for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I'm a little depressed. I'm not gonna lie.
I know you are. I can hear it. It's all good, man. It's all good.
And I don't think the Lakers are a better team. I think they're just a great matchup for us.
I think they're both kind of evened out. I wouldn't say who's better than who, but I would say the Warriors are without doubt a better shooting team. I'd say the Warriors are a better deep defensive team. And in my opinion, if you have the better defensive team in the playoffs.
But they don't trust their teammates, man. You got Moses Moody out here playing out in the stretch. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think Steve Kerr knows who he wants to go with.
He doesn't.
It's kind of like the Monty Williams situation before he finally figured it out once Chris Paul got hurt. I don't think he really knows where he wants to go with the bench, because you got the Jordan Poole situation, which we'll talk about. You got like Moses Moody has been like, Kuminga's been mad with like little minutes. JaMychal Green even admitted he's been upset with, like.
You know who we need is Otto Porter Jr.
Yes,
that's who we need.
Yep. Honestly, he was from last year again.
Sneaky part of our championship run last year, but he was so necessary. The three he provided was invaluable.
3-and-D play and also the rebounds, bro.
Yeah,
the rebounding was key for that stretch. They don't have that. I mean, DiVincenzo does. My opinion, DiVincenzo is their best player off your bench. So,
and he had a terrible game.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game. So,
smoking layups. It was bad. Yeah. It was bad, man.
It's tough, but hey, you never count Steph Curry out. You never count this Warriors team out. Like they have championship heart, but they're playing a guy that also has championship heart in LeBron. So it's going to be.
If we win Game 5, I don't know if I can like mentally handle Game 6.
No, Warriors fans are going to be sick to their stomach during Game 6 if they win Game 5. I'm just saying. Because what that is bringing you is hope, and that hope's going to crush you.
Strongest drug
like
in the world.
I'm telling you. It sucks. It'll suck, but hopefully you guys don't get there. In my opinion, let's Let's go to Jordan Poole because I really want to go to Jordan Poole. Listen, man. Listen. I believe in the brother still. I believe in his shot creating. I believe in his handles. I believe in his work ethic. But mentally, he's not there right now. Mentally, he's not there, and I think that's a big part of this game. There's talks with Kerith Burke yesterday as they were talking to him in the locker room, and there's tension in the locker room because he was facing the other direction trying to talk.
I saw that.
He was giving like short word answers. The locker room is sick right now, tension wise, and that's not just with Jordan Poole. I think it's with coaches, players, bench. In my opinion, man, the precedent was set when Draymond Green punched him in the face earlier in this season. It's been a long-lasting effect since then with Jordan Poole. I'm not saying this whole season's Draymond Green's fault or anything like that. I do think everybody has a role to play. But mentally, it's been terrible for Poole this year. It's so bad, Sal. I was watching his highlights this morning of last year in that playoff run against Denver and just in general. And I was like, where is this guy at? And I'm like, it's a mental thing with him. And I just think
imagine.
It reminds me, Sal, of what Phoenix Suns fans are like with DeAndre Ayton. It's the same thing with the Warriors fans with Jordan Poole. And I think, man, it's a mental thing with him. Like, it's just as simple as that. And it's something that is going to be tough. You get punched in the face. You get paid a lot of money. You're scrutinized every single game, whether you have 20, whether you have 10, whether you're 14 to 20 or three of like 19. Then this point, now that he put a goose egg yesterday. Didn't have a single point, didn't have a single rebound, didn't have a single assist. It's bad, man. Mentally, it's terrible. And I think it's just a microcosm of just a whole. I think it's just the young players in general, outside of Moses Moody, because I think he's been kind of handling it better. The bench players aren't happy, man, with their minutes.
All right, let's just imagine this. You're a 22-year-old kid. You're bouncing in and out of the G League. You start to have a significant role on a playoff run with one of the greatest players of all time. You win a championship. You get a bag. Life is great. You're on the beach. You have a lot of money. You go back to practice. You get punched in the jaw by your teammate.
In front of everybody to see.
In front of everybody. Now, did he start it? Maybe he got a little too cocky. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I don't get paid. I don't even get paid to be on here.
It's 9 o'clock.
Sorry.
Well,
that's
it's 9 o'clock. I tend to agree. I think it's a mental thing. I think he doesn't want to be there. I mean, why? I mean, listen, if I showed up to work and got punched, I wouldn't want to be there either for the rest of the year.
I'm telling you, man. Draymond really screwed up with that punch, bro.
I really don't want to boil it down to that one moment because I like to think
it's just a human being aspect, Sal.
Yeah.
It's human nature. Like, it's hard to let something like that go. Your brother, a person you went to battle with,
sweat,
sucker punches you super hard in the face in front of millions of people. And in practice, and he gets out. Like, dude, I get it. Like, he probably forgave him, but that's like something like that is just that is tough to like psychologically let go of, man.
The Kuminga thing is also.
I think the Kuminga thing is very underrated.
I get it. I get why Kerr doesn't trust him, but he played a factor in last year too. He's not. The kid is like 20 years old, man. Give him some minutes. Just try something, dude. Try something.
Mm-hmm.
What's it gonna hurt? Really? Like, yeah, he could be a little too much. He could rely too much on his athleticism at times, but the skill is there, man. The skill is there. You can't teach that at that size, that athleticism. I'll never sell my Kuminga stock. I think he's our future. To be completely honest with you, I've everything.
To Bob Myers' defense, I think he went to this upcoming season relying too he had a lot of confidence in the young group to take that next step, and I just think that it kind of was at a stall for the most part this season. James Wiseman gets traded. Jordan Poole takes a step back mentally, I should say. Jonathan Kuminga's still growing. He's 20 years old, for crying out loud. And I think he actually had a better year than last year. And for whatever reason, Moses Moody wasn't getting the amount of minutes he should have been getting.
Bob Myers, Poole, Kerr, Draymond. One of those is leaving next year.
And I can't believe I'm saying this. It's probably going to be Bob Myers, which is going to be sad for me. I think he should be not the person to leave, but I don't know. But they got 4 championships. That you just got to do the Clay thing. You just got to do the Clay thing.
But like I said, I'm not giving up hope because I'm a Warriors fan and we're Durant. So Dubs and 7, baby.
Oh, here we go. Your analysis, Sal. You got to give your analysis thoughts, man. So don't speak from the heart. Speak from the heart.
I mean, if you really want the analysis, is just let Steph cook, man. I don't even care. Let Steph cook. I don't have any hardcore analysis for you.
Yeah, my heart says Warriors in 7. My analysis says Warriors win Game 5 and lose Game 6. And I'll be shook if they lose Game 5. If they lose Game 5, oh God.
We go outside, we deserve it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. So we took a lot of time on that Warriors-Lakers subject, but we had a lot of our minds on that one. So moving on to more, I guess, positive news. Celtics and Sixers series is lit, Sal.
James, Lil Baby Harden.
Lil Baby Harden. Man, what a sensational performance he had in Game 4. 42 points in OT. You had freaking Joel Embiid had his double-double with 34. Or was it 36? I think it was 34. 34 points. Look, man, they're one of the best duos in the league. Hands down, I think. I don't think they are the best. I think it's Book and KD. I digest. But they are one of
I agree.
But they are one of the best duos in the league, and they keep showing it out in this series. And Doc Rivers is thanking his heavens that he has those two at his disposal. And this is with Joel Embiid not being 100%. So I got to ask you this. Do you think Celtics are in trouble? I think Celtics still in ways have control of the series. But, well, I mean, what are your thoughts? Because now they're going back to Boston for Game 5.
I mean, absolutely they're in trouble. I mean, if Tatum's going to be inconsistent like this, he had a goose egg in the first half, I think. Or he had like 2 points from free throws, I think, in the first half. He turned it up for the second half. But look who's taking these last shots, man. It's Marcus Smart. Like, what's going on? Like, we can't run the pick and roll and have Jaylen Brown in the corner? I don't want to say we. I'm not even a Celtics fan.
In the words of Jaylen Brown, he needs to demand the ball more. And I agree with him. He needs to be taking these shots, bro. It's fathomable.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a close series. It will continue to be. I mean, there's a lot of talk about the last play. The Harden's a game-winning 3. I mean, Jaylen Brown shouldn't have left him. I don't think he needed to go back to try to double on Embiid when the other person on the other side of the court was PJ Tucker. But whatever. At least, I have a bunch of jumbled thoughts about this series because
the floor is yours, pal. The floor is yours.
On one hand, I like the Celtics team. They have the talent and the star power to make a deep run and really honestly compete for a chip. I think the Sixers get a little fumble. I think they're confused. When Maxey has the ball, they like to play at a fast pace, but they are not a team built to play at a fast pace. So I feel like Doc needs to figure something out rotation-wise to really get the most out of Maxey. And I think that will elevate them up to win the series. Because if they're going to rely on just Harden, because Embiid really didn't play that great, honestly, by his standards. If they're going to rely on Harden, where he's going to be like score 40 points a game, then 14 points the next game, I think they're at a loss. And I think in the end, the talent on the floor will prevail for the Celtics.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's funny. to answer the question I kind of gave you, it's like I don't necessarily think the Celtics are in trouble. I think we got a bunch of. I think night in, night out, you don't know which team for both sides you're getting, which is kind of unique in this playoff series.
Yeah.
I think both at their best, it's a 7-game series, but I'd favor a little bit more Boston because they're more deeper. But I don't know what Tatum are you getting from a consistent night? What Harden are you getting from a consistent night? To your credit as well, Tyrese Maxey is a lot more up-tempo type style of player. You can't really do that with Embiid or PJ Tucker on the floor.
I mean, yeah, on paper, the depth of the Celtics should win easily. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon has been really good for them. And I saw that they threw out that 3-guard lineup with White and Smart on the floor at the same time. I think that worked well.
Yeah, like Marcus Smart, Derek White, Brogdon.
Oh, it was Brogdon. Yeah, Brogdon, not Brown. Brogdon.
Yeah. Then they should do. And then you have the small ball lineup of that with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That'd be today's tradition basketball right there. That'd be fun to see. Give a little bit of a different look. But yeah, no, man. I just think that's why I don't necessarily. I still have Celtics winning this series. I just think that I just think like from a consistent standpoint, I don't know which team I'm getting night in and night out.
You think it's going 7?
I think
Celtics 2 right now, right?
Yeah, it's 2-2 right now. I think Celtics got them in 6 games. I think Celtics win the next 2 and call it.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a rematch with Celtics Heat again. But I don't want to jump the gun because I have a prediction for that. But yeah, I think Celtics win this in 6. I could be wrong though. But yeah, so yeah. But now, in the final stages of this podcast, we move to Knicks Heat. The Heat, and I got to give credit to the Heat coaching staff. Nam's coaches said in the beginning of the series, if Jimmy Butler's healthy, they're winning this in 5 games. It's done. It's a wrap. Once they said that, I was confident, and I was like, they have the blueprint for them in handy. And what they're doing really well is attacking Jalen Brunson off of different defense switches, which I think is really causing a problem for the Knicks defensively, and they're a good defensive team. But Erik Spoelstra has Thibs figured out, man, and this actually gives me.
He had Haywood Highsmith playing meaningful minutes.
Erik Spoelstra is different, man. Erik Spoelstra is different. Which leads me to this next question, which is kind of because we got our Greg Popoviches of the world, we got our Ty Lue's of the world, we got our all these guys. Do you think Erik Spoelstra is the best coach in the National Basketball Association?
Yeah, by far.
By
far. What it was Pop, and he's doing kind of the same thing with Pop. You give him any lineup, he's gonna milk the most out of it.
I agree.
Max Strus and Gabriel Vincent look like Steph and freaking Clay out there sometimes. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I'm a big Caleb Martin guy. Great hustler, great shooter.
He finds a way to get the best out of his players within the system he has developed there. And I think him and Jimmy Butler are a match made in heaven for each other, man. Like, they're a match made in heaven based off of, like, just the right buttons to push towards each other from the standpoint of, like, system, from the standpoint of, like, player-coach relationship. It's beautiful. And it don't matter what seed they are a threat in the playoffs every single year.
It's crazy because Spo will play every single player on the team.
It's beautiful. I don't know why coaches don't follow his method, but Erik Spoelstra gets it, man.
I need someone to graph the progression of lineups for Heat this year. I want to see like every single lineup. It's probably like the variations are probably crazy.
I would love to see an Erik Spoelstra versus Ty Lue NBA Finals personally, with both their teams fully healthy. I think it would be beautiful. I would favor the Clippers only because they're, have a little bit more depth, a deeper team than Miami. But
I mean, so did the Bucks, but
that's true. But man, I think Jimmy Butler can get them 2 games. So like it'd make things very interesting.
Real quick side tangent. We didn't talk about Coach Bud getting fired, did we?
No, we didn't.
Quick thoughts on that. What do you feel about that?
Bruh. I think it was bad timing, but it was the right decision. That makes sense. I think bad timing from the standpoint of, hey, look.
I agree. I agree with you.
I was like, hey, look, man, you have family matters going on. It's hard, and especially when it's your brother. Like that's.
Yeah, I didn't know that until after he was fired. Actually, I read that article.
A lot of people didn't know that until after he was fired. In my opinion, and my friend told me this. Shout out Doug, by the way. My friend told me this. He was like, if I were like an NBA, if I was like one of the front office guys in Milwaukee, and I knew about that before the season, I would have told him to go handle that family matter and had an interim head coach immediately. I would not have had him coach during that situation. Now, I'm saying that definitely probably did play a factor a little bit in why he didn't bring out his best coaching efforts. And I'm not even just saying that because you want him to focus primarily. I'm seriously saying like, hey man, that's family is more important than anything. So I would have had him be with his family during that time.
Unfortunately, at the end of the day, it's still a corporation, a cold corporation.
Yeah, it is. And so, but in terms of like they're just an NBA from a standpoint and from not factoring that stuff in as well. Yeah, I mean, it was time. I mean, the offense was kind of getting stagnant. There wasn't really any new adjustments going around.
There was no adjustments.
No adjustments at all. Rotation was bad. There was, it was pretty much Giannis saved me the last 2 years.
I mean, Giannis won him that ring.
Actually, it was Giannis saved me the last 3-4 years.
He would have been fired if they didn't.
He would have been fired the finals year if the Suns won. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
That championship gave him another 2 years. Unfortunately, I mean,
sorry. Yeah, back to Knicks Heat though. Did you have any thoughts on the Knicks side?
They're done.
They're done.
Unfortunately, I think that I just think coaching wise, I think Thibs is getting out coached. And
really,
Thibs is a great coach.
Yeah, disappointing for Mitchell Robinson, especially after he played so great against like all-star caliber bigs last.
Hey man, series. Bam Adebayo, man.
Perplexing. Yeah, Bam Adebayo. Probably the most underrated defender in the league. I know he gets DPOY votes every year, but he gets the
Devin. In my opinion, he gets the Devin Booker treat. Well, this Devin Booker didn't really get this treatment now as much as he used to. But in terms of like just among centers, I don't think he's talked about enough as like up there with like those guys. And I think it has a lot to do with because he's not averaging 25 or more a game.
I mean, I still feel like he's the third best big in the league.
I do too.
A great year, but
I do too.
I still feel like in general, there's obviously a big tier gap between Jokic and Embiid, and then I think Bam is kind of like in his own little tier on his own.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely think he's like I think he's Jaren Jackson plus, in my opinion, as a player. I think they're kind of like the same mold, kind of. They do little things differently, but he deserves his flowers. And so does Kevin Love. Shout out Kevin Love. He's been amazing.
Best buyout pickup in a long time.
I was about to say Russell Westbrook was up there too, especially after his series with LA, but unfortunately,
true,
the Clippers weren't healthy, so
probably the most expensive buyout player.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. So it's been good. Any last minute thoughts before we head out, Mr. Sal? Just on the NBA playoffs in general.
Playoff wise, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a crazy week. I know Knicks Heat is wrapped up, but the rest of the 3 series are gonna be really good. Yeah, I still think, even if the Warriors down 3-1, but we already talked about that enough.
I like we said, I think Warriors can get game 5. I think they just have too much championship art and pride. I think they'll get that. I am very excited to see this because Chris Paul's still out. I want to see.
They're better without Chris Paul. That's actually my hot take.
That's not a hot take because I've felt the same way for the longest time. If I'm being I felt the way for the longest time only because during the beginning of the season when Cameron Payne, this was when they had Mikal Bridges, but when Cameron Payne was starting for them those 2 weeks when he was out, or 3 weeks when Chris Paul was out, the pace on the floor was so fast and so up tempo. I'm like, this is the way the Suns offense is supposed to be ran with Book in the lineup. And they went on like a 9 or 10 game win streak. And I was like thinking to myself, this is the Suns offense. This is how it's supposed to run. So that's why when Chris Paul got hurt and they're down 2-0, I was thinking to myself, they're winning game 3. I don't know about game 4, but they're getting game 3 because it's going to be this is the way the offense is supposed to be ran in terms from a fast-paced perspective.
Right.
I just think the offense slows down and gets too stagnant at times, which, I mean, it's tough to argue with the coach because I know, they know more than I do. It's just, to me, when Chris Paul is out there, I just think there's not a lot. They even said after game 1 too, they're like the tempo wasn't fast, and I was like, yeah, because I feel like Chris Paul kind of slows it down a little bit too much at times, and it's like,
I agree.
They gotta go fast, man, for them to be at their full potential. And it's been working.
Just to plug myself real quick, I do have my top 10 prospects coming into the draft this year.
Oh, here we go. You and your NBA. Listen, little viewers that we have. My man Sal here really loves the NBA draft, so we got some. I believe we'll have something cooking soon.
Probably. Well, if we could talk about it next week if we want, but the lottery will be done by the time we're done with our podcast next week.
Okay.
So maybe the week after next, we could talk about team fits and stuff.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Well, I mean, if you want to say a little bit about the NBA draft before you head out, the floor is yours. Let the audience know how you feel about this.
So I've been scouting. I've been into the draft since I was in high school. This is the first time I've seriously scouted more than 10 players in a draft. So I'm pretty proud of what I've got coming out. This draft is looking to be one of the best draft classes of all time, in my opinion. We got an insane top heavy top 1, and the second pick is also generational. And Scoot Henderson.
Scoot Henderson is my favorite, bro.
Victor Wembanyama, obviously. I mean, if you like basketball, you've heard of Victor Wembanyama. Most hyped prospect since LeBron. That's prospects, whatever you want to say. 7'5", dribble, can shoot, pass, defense off the charts. But we don't have enough time for all that. And just a lot of good talent coming into the league this year, and I'm really excited.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm a big Scoot Henderson fan. I think he's one of the most pro-ready guards.
Probably the most pro-ready guard ever, actually.
Yeah, I think he's the most pro-ready guard I've ever seen. I keep watching this stuff, and I'm just like, he should have been in the league last year. And I think he would have been Rookie of the Year. I think he would have been Rookie of the Year last year if he went in.
No doubt. He skipped senior high school to play in the G League. He's on some Goku type stuff right now.
It's crazy, man. He's that good. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see how the lottery kind of goes. Who do you want to get the number 1 pick, and who do you think's going to get the number 1 pick?
The Magic.
That's what I'll say before you head out.
Everyone will hate them.
Wait, what?
The Magic, because everyone will hate them.
That's who you want to get the number 1 pick?
Yeah. I want Magic to get number 1 pick.
Victor and Paolo?
And Franz. That's the big boy team. With
Franz? Oh, God dang.
My second choice would probably be either Houston. I'm not Houston. No, I do not want to go to Houston. No offense to Houston. There's just too much.
That's why Houston's trying to trade all the young guys and get all these top tier guys go to their team because they know they're about to get a generational talent.
Entertainment value wise, well, obviously the Magic, but the Spurs, because he would have the highest usage on the Spurs, and he already kind of has a little team that he could be built around. I think that's a good starting place for him.
And a coach.
And Pop will be like, "Whoa, what the heck?" Now I have to coach till I'm 80.
Yeah, he's really been like, "Dang, I thought I was about to retire, but I gotta freaking mold this dude."
But yeah, man.
All right, who do I want to get the number 1 pick?
Also, Blazers is spicy too. That would be spicy.
then Dame's not leaving. That's all I'll say if that happens. But who do I want to get the number 1 overall pick? I definitely think it would be fun. I do want to see LaMelo with Wembanyama. That'd be disgusting.
That's I know they call what do they call Lob City 2.0? They call Memphis Lob City 2.0.
Yeah,
but that'd be the real Lob City 2.0.
LaMelo and Wembanyama
That would be ridiculous.
Would be Chris Paul and Blake Griffin on steroids.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous. One of the best passers of the last 5 years coming into the league and an absolute alien.
That's crazy. That would be crazy. That's who I'd want. Who I think's gonna get it? Crazy enough, Detroit.
Fun fact: I think Texas has a 30% chance of getting Wembanyama, like just the state of Texas. The Mavs, the Spurs, and the Rockets are all in the lottery.
Yep. Dallas gonna get somebody good too. So
if Dallas, I think Dallas has like a 1% chance of getting him. That would be absolutely crazy, but I don't think that's happening. If that does happen,
forget that. That's Kobe and Shaq. That'll be Kobe and Shaq all over again. That would be fun. It would honestly. I know we should be going real soon, but I wanted to ask you because I know you. What's your comp for Wembanyama? Because like mine, because I know you're probably going to disagree with me. I kind of see like a Kristaps Porzingis on steroids, but I don't know if that's like a legit comparison.
I know it's really a cop out because he really is just so unique. Oh, real quick sidebar. I know we're running out of time, but he actually grew up. There was a ESPN special that came out on Sunday. It's like 9 minutes long, and he grew up watching Pistol Pete. That was his like first person he watched, which blows my mind. Yeah, because he's like 7'5", so it's like crazy. Yeah. Comparison wise, I mean, he's just like a weird blend on offense. He's like a weird blend of like Kevin Durant and Giannis. Not as athletic and not as a good shooter as the two of them. But the passing and the handle at his size is just absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It like breaks my mind. And on defense, people like to say Rudy Gobert. I guess that's a fair comparison. I mean, they're both French, whatever. Feels like a lazy comparison. I want to say there's someone else. I could kind of see Kevin Garnett on defense, but longer. So,
okay.
Just the switchability is insane. You can switch him on the guards, wings, his length. And I know he's skinny, but he could take contact well. And it doesn't even matter if he gets backed up because he has an 8-foot wingspan. So he's still there.
Yep.
That's enough. That's enough Wemby talk.
Yes, it is. Hopefully the Warriors find a way. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that'll wrap up this awesome podcast. For the Mill3r Sports Podcast. Tune in on YouTube if you didn't view in. We'll have the live of this or the recap of this on YouTube. So tune in. Also, feel free to follow Sal on Twitter at Sally Dior. Did I get that right?
Yep.
At Sally Dior. Follow me on Twitter at Mill3r Sports 3. On Twitter, and please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel on Burn City Sports. But as of right now, I am your host, Franklin Miller. That's Christian Salgado, as we like to call Sal, who also does a really good job for NBA stuff analysis. Feel free to tell them a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, you could go ahead and write articles on basketball. You go ahead and follow me on Substack at salnba.substack.com. And like I said, I got an article coming out either tomorrow or Thursday for the draft. So
let's go. Feel free to look at that, man. It should be good. But again, I'm your host, Franklin Miller. That's Christian Salgado. Tune in next week. Let's talk to you then.
Peace.